Hi, my name is Michael King. I'm the principal broker and CEO of Pradium Realty. My wife Liliana and I also make up the King team of Pradium Realty. We've recently had the pleasure of listing a spectacular piece of property located at 70 Powers Road in Westford, Massachusetts. This property is less than a mile and a half from Neshoba Valley Ski Area and Cavallo Equestrian Center. According to the deed, the lot contains more than 22 acres of land. Now, upon a quick look at this property, your average buyer might pass it by. After all, the parcel has no frontage. The town of Westford assessor's card has it listed as unbuildable under its use code. But you're about to learn some information about this property that will give you an advantage over your average buyer. And we tried to put it together in a nice, easy to understand package for you, including this video, as well as multiple attachments uploaded to the MLS listing. Please bear in mind that we are not attorneys, and nothing in this video should be construed as legal advice. All buyers are responsible for conducting their own due diligence. Before we begin, it's important to understand a little bit about easements. Very briefly, I'm going to explain what an easement is, what an easement appurtenant is, and the difference between a dominant estate and a servient estate when it comes to an easement appurtenant. An easement, by definition, is the right of a person to use the land of another, meaning that an easement gives someone the right to use someone else's property, usually for a specific reason or purpose. Check out this example. Parcel A does not have frontage on the street. Parcel B does have frontage on the street. Parcel A has an easement allowing its owner to cross Parcel B for the purpose of accessing their parcel. This is known as a right-of-way, which is a common type of easement. A right-of-way easement, like we just saw, is an example of what's called an easement appurtenant. In an easement appurtenant, there's what's called a dominant estate and a servient estate. In the easement example we just saw, Parcel A would be the dominant estate because it benefits from using someone else's land. Parcel B would be called the servient estate because the easement essentially takes away from their land to benefit or serve someone else's land. An important trait of an easement appurtenant is that it runs with the land. What does this mean exactly? It means that if a property with an easement appurtenant sells, the easement, which is usually written into the deed, transfers with the property. Going back to our example, let's say that Tom owns Parcel A, and Parcel A has a right-of-way to cross Parcel B. If Tom sells Parcel A to Frank, Frank now owns Parcel A and benefits from the right-of-way to cross Parcel B. Tom no longer has the right to cross Parcel B because the easement transferred with the land, not the owner. Now that we've discussed easements, let's see how this relates to 70 Powers Road in Westford. If we examine the most recent deed for 70 Powers Road, we'll find the land description, and then just below the land description is the wording, together with a right-of-way to the said Lowell Road, as the same is now in use and as set forth in deed of George Laws to John Wayne, recorded in said registry Book 57, page 190, and subject to another right-of-way mentioned in said deed so far as the said right now exists. Some key takeaways from this paragraph are as follows. 70 Powers Road has a right-of-way. That right-of-way is described in this deed, located in this book and page number with the Registry of Deeds. The right-of-way provides access from a road called Lowell Road, and there's also another right-of-way described in this deed. Let's look at the tree. Here's the most recent deed for 70 Powers Road. For the sake of this video, we're going to call this the current deed. Now we're going to look at the deed of George Laws to John Wayne. Upon examining the deed at Book 57, page 190, we can see that it is a handwritten deed which does in fact detail two rights of way. Now, regarding Lowell Road, you'll see that when we look at a map of 70 Powers Road, there is no Lowell Road anywhere in sight. So we'll circle back around to that subject shortly. Back to the current deed for 70 Powers Road. Below the land description, and below the paragraph we just dissected, is the following wording. Conveyed together with the benefit of a proposed easement right-of-way as set forth in document recorded in Book 7070, page 220. The key takeaways from this paragraph are as follows. The parcel has another right-of-way. The right-of-way is described in this document located at this book and page number with the Registry of Deeds. and the right-of-way is titled Proposed Easement in the reference document. So let's take a quick look at the tree again. Here's the current deed for 70 Powers Road. We've already looked at the deed of George Laws to John Wayne. Now we're going to look at a document titled Easement that's recorded in Book 7070, page 220 at the Registry of Deeds. In this easement document, it states that Kindred Bros, a Massachusetts corporation, owns Lot 4 on a plan that's recorded at the Middlesex North Registry of Deeds, Book of Plans 182, page 146. It also states that Pegasus Farm Inc., a Massachusetts corporation, owns Lot 7 on the same plan, and that Lot 4 and Lot 7 have a shared driveway over a portion of Lot 4, which is shown as Proposed Easement on the plan. So let's head back to the tree. Here's where we are now, at the document titled Easement. Now we're going down to the plan that's recorded at Book of Plans 182, page 146, which for the sake of this video, we'll just call the plan. As you can see, here is Lot 7, and here is Lot 4. Right here is the proposed easement that runs over a portion of Lot 4. Remember back on the current deed for 70 Powers Road, it said conveyed together with the benefit of a proposed easement right-of-way, as set forth in document recorded in Book 7070, page 220? That means that this easement goes with 70 Powers Road. Now let's jump back to the easement document. The next paragraph down states, whereas Patricia Nair, as said successor trustee, under declaration of trust recorded with said deeds, at Book 2778, page 303, is the owner of land identified as Parcel C in a deed from Joseph H. Coleman et Ux, dated June 16, 1984, and recorded with said deeds at Book 2778, page 311. The key takeaways from this paragraph are as follows. Patricia Nair is the successor trustee under a declaration of trust, and Patricia Nair is the owner of Parcel C in a deed recorded at Book 2778, page 311, from Joseph H. Coleman and his wife. Now, I don't think it's necessary to do a deep dive of the reference trust, though it is included as an attachment on the MLS if you want to review it yourself. But there is one thing in the trust that stood out to me, and that's this line right here. Power Road, formerly known as Lowell Road. I told you we'd circle back around to it. So anywhere that Lowell Road is referenced, they're actually talking about Powers Road because the name of the road changed at one point. On the tree, we are now going to go from the easement down to the deed recorded at Book 2778, page 311, which for the sake of this video, we'll call the Coleman deed. On the Coleman deed, you'll see that there are 3 parcels listed: Parcel A, Parcel B, and Parcel C. Looking at a map, I believe that 70 Powers Road is Parcel C. Looking at the description of Parcel C on the Coleman deed, you'll see that the parcel is described as being a little over 22 acres and mentions the same rights of way that we saw earlier on the current deed. Access to Lowell Road, which we now know is called Powers Road, as detailed in the George Laws to John Wayne deed. So the Coleman deed is also referencing both easements detailed in the George Laws to John Wayne deed. All of this, the current deed, the deed to George Laws to John Wayne, the easement declaration, the plan, the trust, the Coleman deed, all of this, just to essentially say that there is access from Powers Road to the parcel of land known as 70 Powers Road. In other words, an easement appurtenant, 70 Powers Road being the dominant estate, and the other parcels being servient estates. Now that we've discussed the right-of-way easements, there's one last document that I'd like to mention. The current owners of 70 Powers Road hired an attorney at one point to determine if the parcel is buildable, and it was the opinion of the attorney that the land is in fact buildable. There is a document attached to the MLS listing that's titled 70 Powers Road Building Information, which I highly recommend you check out. In the 70 Powers Road Building Information document, there's all sorts of information. It details the easements that we just reviewed, and you remember the Coleman deed? Well, there's even an affidavit in this document from the Coleman's son-in-law, sharing his personal knowledge of the right-of-way, where he even describes stone walls on either side of the right-of-way. There's also research showing that the boundaries for 70 Powers Road predated the Westford zoning bylaws, and that the parcel was never held in common ownership with any of the abutting lots prior to or even after the adoption of the zoning bylaws. The document also details zoning bylaw 4.3.6, which allows one building plus accessory buildings to be built on the lot. Please note that the bylaw referenced in the document is from the 2016 zoning bylaws. However, I did verify that no changes have been made to bylaw 4.3.6 in the most recent zoning bylaws from 2021. Additionally, the document also details Westford, Mass. Conservation regulations, allowing a roadway to be built over wetlands for access to the building lot and other conservation regulations. Like I said, I highly recommend that you check it out. It's titled 70 Powers Road Building Information and provides just so much information about the property. Again, bear in mind that we are not attorneys. We strongly encourage all buyers to conduct their own due diligence. Additionally, the models and images in this video are not exact. They're only rough approximations to illustrate, among other things, which lots the easements run through. So, if you haven't checked out the listing for 70 Powers Road in Westford, Mass. Yet, we highly recommend it. It's a beautiful wooded lot. It's about 3 minutes from Neshoba Valley ski area, possibly less. You can actually see Neshoba Valley in a lot of the drone photos that were taken of the property. And there's not always land like this listed for sale in Westford. So it's a great opportunity for someone to snag up a wonderful piece of property in an awesome location for a great price. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions at all. My name is Michael King. I'm the principal broker with Pradium Realty. My phone number is 978-627-4426, extension 402. And my email address is michael@pradiumrealty.com. You can also contact my wife, Liliana King. She's a licensed salesperson with Pradium Realty, and her phone number is 978-833-9825, and her email address is liliana@pradiumrealty.com. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.